Are you living your life to the fullest? Have you unlocked your full potential? Or are there things in your life that you really would like to improve? Perhaps some relationships, your financial situation, your job, your health. If you're going to give an honest answer to this question, well, what is it? Now, if I ask this question from friends or my clients, then the answer that I get most of the time is, well, to be honest, there are certain areas in my life that I really would like to improve upon. And that brings me to the following question that has fascinated but also frustrated me for the past 10, 20 years. And the question is this: how is it possible that we have areas in our life that we would like to improve, yet we don't take the necessary action steps to make those improvements? And it's not that we don't know what to do or how to do it. We often have the knowledge and the skills and the recipe to make the steps to make those improvements, yet we don't do it. We get distracted, we delay action, maybe we doubt whether it's for us and we can actually achieve that, or perhaps we feel selfish or settle for good instead of going for great, or we talk ourselves out of it. We say, it's not that important. And well, that's a shame because, I think we're here on this planet to actually develop our full potential. We deserve that, and the world deserves that from us too. There is no value in playing small if we can grow and play a bigger game. Everyone wins. So what can we do to overcome this issue? Well, what we need transformational change, which means we need to change certain beliefs, beliefs that have taken root into our brains, into our body, into our system, that have led to certain unconscious habits that keep us from changing from where we are to where we want to go. So if you are somebody who is interested in getting the most out of your life and make some steps and improvements quickly, well, then this is interesting perhaps for you to listen to. Now, and you want to stick around because at the end of this presentation, I've got something valuable for you that I want to give you. So let's do a little exercise. Suppose you would consider the key areas of your life and give yourself a score on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 means, well, it really sucks, and 10 means everything is great, can't be better at this point in time. Consider your health, physical health, your mental health, your emotional health and stability, and maybe your spiritual health. Consider your key relationships with your loved ones and with your colleagues at work and with friends and family. What score would you give that? Consider your financial situation. Is your income level at the level where you want it to be? Do you have the net worth that will help you to sustain your life once you don't want to or you cannot work anymore? Consider your self-expression. So what is it that you really would like to do, perhaps as outside of work, for instance? That can be your hobbies, can be travel, can be anything you'd like to pick up and do, maybe learning a new language, maybe art. But there can be many different areas that you further want to develop that would define a life worth living. Now give yourself a score on each of these areas, and then you can give yourself a composite score on a scale of 1 to 10. And write down that score. And later on you can do a more in-depth analysis. But for now it's more to get a feel for where are you currently. And now let's imagine that we move and travel into the future 3 years from now. So we're going to meet each other again 3 years from now, right here, right now. And I'm going to ask you the question, well, if you now imagine being there, what would have happened both personally and professionally in order for you to feel happy with your progress? So you can pick one specific area in your life, maybe the relationship with your children, or maybe your job, or maybe your health. your physical health, or you can look at your whole life situation. How do you feel? Do you feel calm and relaxed and on top of things, or do you feel stressed and anxious and perhaps guilty or shameful for things that you did in the past or didn't do? What's going on? So consider your thoughts, consider your feelings, your emotions, and consider your behaviors. Are you taking the actions that you need to take to make progress in your key areas? Or if on reflection, procrastinating, are you easily distracted? So imagine projecting yourself 3 years from now and then looking back from that place to today and think about, well, what will have happened both personally and professionally in order for you to feel happy with your progress. And that gives you a good picture of where you are right now and where you want to be. And you can also give a score to that future you on each of those areas and a composite score again. And then you can think about, well, what has really changed? Yeah? How are you thinking differently at the time? How are you feeling about your life? How are you feeling about events, about other people? And what behaviors, what actions, what habits are you regularly taking? What does a typical day look like for you 3 years from now? So the first thing, and there's basically three things you need to get right in order to get unstuck and make progress towards your desired lifestyle, your dream life. The first thing we just talked about, which is clarity. You need to be clear about where you are and where you want to go, because if you don't know where you are, well, then you don't know where you need to start. If you don't know where you want to go, well, then you have no clue which direction you need to go to make progress. So that's the first thing, clarity. So you get clarity through reflection, right? The second thing you need to get right is focus. One of the mistakes that most of us make is that we want to change too many things too quickly. We tend to overestimate what we can achieve in the short term and underestimate what we can achieve in the long run. It takes time, it takes focused effort. It's like a snow shovel. I don't know if you live in an area where there is snow in the winter, or maybe there's permanent snow. And if you don't, well, then you can imagine that, and you can replace snow by sand, a heap of sand. Then just consider a very wide snow shovel. Now, of course, it gives you the opportunity to shovel and move away a lot of snow at the same time, but it's really heavy. And now compare that with a small and narrow snow shovel, and now it's much easier to cut through that heap of snow or sand or whatever you choose as example. And so it's really helpful to make choices, to focus on one or two key areas at one time and not want to change everything at the same time. That's frustrating. The more goals you adopt and you want to pursue in parallel, the higher the likelihood that you will miss one or more of those goals, right? Because there's not a 100% chance that you will hit every goal. So it's a cumulative effect. If it's 90%, well, that you hit one goal, 80% times 90% is 81%, and so forth. So this is a process of selection. Second step, so clarity was the first level. Clarity through reflection, it's a mental process. The second level is focus through selection, right? You need to take responsibility for those areas that you want to focus on. You need to learn to say no to the areas that you are gonna skip for now. We need to learn to say no with confidence to opportunities, to other people. It's nothing personal. It's just necessary to be able to focus on the things you want to improve. It's like, as a final metaphor, it's like trying to bring two rockets in a arc around the Earth. It's not possible. It's very difficult. In fact, it's much easier to say, well, let's focus on bringing one rocket in a trajectory around the Earth and then the second one. I think you get the analogy here. So number one is clarity, as is and to be. Number two is focus. In effect, that consists of two elements as well. You will have to decide on, well, what are the things I'm going to commit to? So translate your big vision of your life situation, where you want to be in 3 years, or perhaps in 10, 20, 30 years. And then you need to translate those into specific tangible goals that you're going to commit to. And then secondly, you need to look at where are your qualities, what are your key capabilities that you're good at. Because if you play to your own strengths, it's much easier to make progress than if you try to fix weaknesses. So what are your key talents and strengths and capabilities and networks that you can use? And then you can find help from other people to help you complement those areas that you're not that good at. So that's focus. And the last one, number 3, is momentum. You need to build momentum for change. And there's another big issue where people, as I said before, we tend to overestimate what we can achieve in the short term and underestimate what we can achieve in the long run. So we need to build momentum for change, and that requires consistent, focused action. So action is a third step. The first level was clarity through reflection. Second level is focus through selection. And the third one is momentum through action, right? Consistent, focused action. Now, that's what you need to do. And if you stick at it and you understand the power of compounding, that's also the title of a community that I've built and that I'm currently inviting members to. So that's the thing I wanted to talk to you about towards the end of this presentation, which is, well, even though we know exactly what we want, we have all the knowledge and skill to take the necessary steps to get there, most of it still don't take consistent, focused action until we have achieved our goals, until we have replaced our old beliefs with new, better, more supportive beliefs, until we have found the courage and capability to say yes with focus and say no with confidence, and until we're able to take focused action, right? And now, this is what you need to do. And why have I built this community? And by the way, I'd like to extend an invitation to you to join the community. It's totally free of any charge. But the community is a community of like-minded people who, like you, who also want to improve one or more areas in their life. And it's a community of mutual support, of accountability, where we're going to help each other to stay focused, to keep that clarity even in the face of uncertainty and anxiety and setbacks, because we will have setbacks. It's never a straight line. And it helps us to keep taking consistent action so that we will start to see progress, and then we'll celebrate that progress. Now, why is this community for free? In fact, you can click the link below to request access to the membership, to the community. Why is it for free? Well, it's very simple. First of all, well, I'd like for you and for others to make progress, and I'd like case studies. If you, by what's being shared by me and by others in the community, if you are benefiting from that and you're making faster progress than you would otherwise do or than you have in the past, well, then hopefully you'll give a shout out to the community, to others, and say, hey, this is really good stuff, what I'm learning here. And that helps to attract more people to join. And secondly, well, perhaps after you've tried for yourself, you still may want some help from me or one of my coaches to help you to make faster progress. Because we only have one life, and I think the most scarce and expensive resource is time. So if we can compress time to get you from where you are to where you want to go, well, that has a lot of value. And now I help my clients, my paid clients, to actually in a short amount of time. And there are techniques for that, and I'll share many of those in the community. But perhaps you want, let's say, a more intimate level of support, more hands-on support, to go from where you are to where you want to be in one or more areas of your life. And then you may decide to sign up for one of my paid consulting or coaching programs. So those are the two reasons why this community is totally free of any charge. One is I want to help people, and I want to collect case studies so that well, the momentum starts building for this community, and I don't need to spend money on paid advertising. it will grow organically. And secondly, you may still decide you want my help or that of one of my team members to help you stay more focused, get more progress, more momentum, more traction, and then you can always sign up for that later on. So thanks for now. If this speaks to you, well then just give it a go. It's free. There's no risk on your part. Be engaging in the community, be positive, and let yourself be surprised. Looking forward to meeting you in person. Bye for now.